Good afternoon, everybody. Pigskin Pete here. Happy Friday to everybody. Happy beer drinkers stream to everybody. So I'm not going to lie. Within the past 5 minutes, my mood has completely changed. I had a great day today. Woke up this morning. The day was great. Woke up like 5:30 this morning, went to work. Day was great. Came home from work. March Madness was on. Went on the Entertainer Talking Sports stream. Was chopping it up on there, having a good time. And so I had Mark Dudley scheduled to come on. And he messaged me, told me he couldn't do it today. He had to stay at work, which is fine. So I just figured I'll go live instead and do this the beer drinker stream. Everything's fine. Then, like literally 5 minutes before the stream starts, something happens not related to YouTube or football that puts me in a completely different mood and pisses me off. So now I'm in a conundrum. I don't know if I've ever had an actual circumstance where I can use the word conundrum, but I just did. Anyway, I was in a conundrum. Do I go live even though I'm super pissed off right now, or do I not? I chose to go live. So if I don't seem like I'm very happy, and if I seem like I have a short fuse right now, I'm just letting you know why. Not letting you know why, but I'm letting you know that there's a reason for it. So bear with me. But I'm sure you guys can cheer me up. So anyway, the number if you want to call in is 855-902-9368. We can talk about anything. Listen, zero preparation went into the show. So I'm relying on phone callers and people in the chat to keep the show afloat. Let me see who's in the chat here real quick. Prince 6'1", my man, says, woo, Friday. Clemson Carson, my man. Cody Lackney in the house. What's up, everybody? All in, baby. I second that. Richard Neal says he did something really stupid today. He's getting too old. Yeah, that sounds like every day for me, sir. Vodka drinkers in the house. Says, I was wondering, did YouTube give you, Trump a promo ad based on what you look? You know what? I don't know how they do the advertising. I did learn something today, though, that I did not know. When I was on the Entertainers channel, you know how a lot of times you're on these live streams, and if a YouTuber comes in there, they'll be like, hey, go check out so-and-so. And, well, I can't even, now I feel like I can't even say it. But, you know, hit the red button for them. Go check them out. Apparently, the S word, subscribe, is a bad word on YouTube now. And I asked them, I said, so what is up with the S word? Why can't you say that anymore? And somebody said that Subway, I don't know if they were trolling me or not. This sounds ridiculous to me, but they said that Subway sued YouTube for the word SUB. Now look, if that's true, I mean, this world has completely, well, first of all, the world has completely gone to shit. We already know that. But if Subway, who hires a child molester as their main character, the guy Jared from Subway, and they're suing YouTube over a word that means nothing to anybody, then I've given up. The other thing about YouTube is I'm about to go on a YouTube rant because I'm pissed about that too. There's a lot of things I'm pissed off about. Now, whenever you get pissed off about something that's non-related to something else, then you just start getting pissed off about everything else. So if anybody is in a really good, mood to call and argue with me about something today, today's the day to do it because it'll be entertaining. But I don't get it. I don't get it. Somebody please call in and get me in a good mood. Hey, hold on. Let me see who else is in here real quick. Dennis Wilson in the house. Pigskin Pete guys said Clemson's going to be dominant in 19. Dennis Wilson, see, you are like 99% of the people who watch my YouTube channel and comment on it. You don't watch the video. All you do is read the friggin' the title to it. You sound like everybody in the comment section from that video I posted yesterday. I did not say Clemson was going to be dominant in 19. I said that Clemson was going to have a dominant offense. Let me spell that out for you. Here, let me see if I got a piece of paper here. I don't have a clean piece. But look at this. Look at this. It looks like a schizophrenic. Oh, here we go. It looks like a schizophrenic just locked himself in a room and started writing poetry for 18 months. Here we go. I'm going to write this out for you, Dennis. Hold on. Can't see it because of the light. Dominant offense. Let me spell it out for you. OFFENSE. Now that we got that. Now I'm dropping stuff. Now that we got that squared away. The Crow and Cock, why so early? I think I just explained that. I'm trying to be nice here. What's up, Dago Watson? Hey, what's up, Dago Watson? Did you get my message, sir? Have you got the $50 Visa card I sent you yet? Please tell me you did, because I mailed it out like 9 days ago now. Please tell me you got it so I don't actually blow a gasket here. Wrong on Purpose is in the house. How you doing, sir? Says, do you think Justin Herbert will be better or worse in 2019? I think it'll be better. I think Justin Herbert's awesome. Oregon's my dark horse to make the playoffs next year. All right, let me check and see if anybody's on the line real quick. On the, I'll go ahead and pick that up. Good afternoon. You're on with Pete.
Peete, what's up, buddy?
Hey, what's up, Cody? Hey, listen, I apologize if you've been waiting. Anyway, thanks for calling in.
You're fine, man.
Yeah. So, talk to me, sir. Put me in a better mood. Try not to make me in a worse mood.
Oh, well, you know what? I put me in a bad mood. Travis Hancock from WFNZ says, 3 highly respected NFL media members have indicated in the past 24 hours that a quarterback like Haskins at 16 wouldn't be crazy for the Panthers.
I saw that too.
So I don't know what the hell that means, but I don't know what the hell that means, but I am so not trying to be pissed off today. Because if that happened, oh my God, I don't know if I will ever be that mad in my life.
Well, here's the thing, because first of all, I don't think that's going to happen. I think the chances of Haskins getting drafted by Carolina is less than 5%, maybe even less than that. I mean, so I don't really think I have to worry about that.
Right.
Here's the other way to look at it.
Yeah, you're probably right.
Here's the other way to look at it, though, because I'm a big believer, and I know a lot of people don't feel this way, because when you go into the draft and you're a fan of one of these teams, or even if you work for one of these teams, if you're a general manager or a coach or whatever, my philosophy is always take the best player available, right, at the time.
Yeah.
And a lot of people don't feel that way. They feel like you should go after the specific needs on your team. Now, the quarterback is a different situation than most players, right? Because when you have a franchise quarterback in Cam Newton, when you have a guy who's up for, what is it, after next year, he's going to be up for a new contract, right? After the 2019 season?
Yeah. By 2021, he has to have a brand new deal.
Right. Okay. No, by 2021. I thought it was sooner than that for some reason.
No, it is 2019 and then 20, because they signed him to a 5-year deal in 2015.
Right. All right, so let's get back to Haskins. So if for some reason, and I don't think this is going to happen, Haskins will be gone before 16. I have no doubt about that. But if for some reason Haskins was there, no matter who your quarterback is, it would be tempting to take him. Just to have capital, have trade capital, or to have a decent backup if for some reason Cam Newton's not able to go next year, right? Now, having said all that,
right.
I don't think that. I mean, I'd be shocked if the Carolina was in the market at all in the first round to pick up a quarterback. I don't see that happening, no matter what happens.
Yeah, and we've been doing the segment on our show. Is Cody feeling the hurt? Because I don't have as much trust in Marty Herney as a lot of other people do, but I've been giving him credit. I do like the free agent signings that we've made. I like the Bruce Irvin move. I think it puts us in a position to go best player available, and I'm into that. But then I also hear that Will Greer had a pro day yesterday, and they're having sit-down dinners with him. And that's of the mindset, in my mind, that, a backup quarterback is a real it's an emphasis for us in this draft. And I'm just, man, we have so many holes not holes, but so many places that we would prefer to upgrade the team. And I just feel like they're putting too much time in a quarterback. Like, I would be disappointed if we spent anything more than a fourth-round pick on a quarterback. I prefer to have maybe another lineman on both sides of the football, maybe another safety like Juan Thornhill out of Virginia. I mean, there are players out there that make us a better football team right now. And if we're out there reaching for a quarterback, I don't know. That tells me that they're not confident about Cam Newton's health going into next year, and that's a problem.
Yeah, that might have something to do with it. I still see. Here's the thing: is I'm not a big believer in going out and drafting a quarterback in the 4th or 5th round for a backup. I mean, listen, because Will Greer? I don't care if Cam Newton doesn't play a single game next year. Is Will Greer going to take us to the playoffs? No, of course he's not. I don't even think Will Greer is going to be a very great quarterback, period, in the NFL, no matter how long he's there. But he's certainly not going to be a very good one his first year. So why waste any pick on him? Honestly, I'm a more of a fan. If you're looking to get a viable backup quarterback because you're worried about the health of your quarterback, or just to have one in case something happens to your healthy quarterback, then you go and do it in free agency. I'd rather have Colin Kaepernick than Will Greer.
Yeah, just because he's been in the NFL.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, and there's I'm a nerd for all this shit. So there's a quarterback in the draft named Tyree Jackson out of Buffalo, 6'7". He can run around, has a cannon front arm, but he's raw. He needs time to be coached up. And in my mind, that's the perfect backup for Cam Newton. Put him in North Turner's offense and let him learn for a few years. But, and we've been talking about this on our show, is that we have a window of time for players on our football team, Luke and Cam, and now you add McCaffrey and DJ Moore. While you have players on your team that are franchise players, do your best to put pieces around them to win right now. And that's of my mindset, and I just think that if you spend anywhere between a 1st to a 3rd round pick on a quarterback, that's not what you're doing. Now, you're right, though. This is probably all very hasty and early to, consider any of this real. So I do agree with you there, but I would just be disappointed if that happened.
Yeah, this quarterback class this year is really not great. In my opinion, it's Kyler Murray, Dwayne Haskins, and there's a huge drop off after that. So if you're not somebody that's looking to have a franchise quarterback this year to build your team around, if you're not drafting somebody named Kyler Murray or Dwayne Haskins, then don't draft a quarterback, or at least don't draft one in the first couple of rounds and expect them to be a starter anytime in the near future. And I'm not throwing hate or shade at Drew Lock or Daniel Jones or any of these other guys. I'm not saying they won't be good, but as far as the Panthers go, they'd be foolish to draft somebody like that. It would make no sense at all.
Yeah, I think so. I think so too. But what I originally wanted to talk to you about, man, is I saw that Tate Martell is going to be able to start for Miami. And, like I said, I'm a football nerd, so there's this documentary called Quarterback One, and Jake Fromm was on it, and Tate Martell. They've had a few seasons now. So I've known Tate Martell for a while, but now he's going from Ohio State to Miami. And the fact that they passed his hardship waiver, in my mind, is a joke.
Yeah.
But I don't care, because I'm a college football fan. I want to see Tate Martell play.
Yeah.
Especially in the ACC, and everyone says our division is so bad, I want the most talent that we can have playing football right now. I mean, I'm of the mindset that if Miami had a better quarterback last year and the year before, that would have been a legitimate football team. But their quarterback was just absolutely terrible. But I do like Martell as a player, and so I'm kind of just wanted to know what your take on the football free agent market is. Do you like the players moving around and being able to play, or do you think they should sit out a year like Jacob Eason did?
So here's the thing, and I'm glad you used that term because you might be the first person that's ever used that exact term, is college football free agency. And that's exactly what it is. And that's exactly what it is. And that term has been a little bit taboo here in the past couple of years, but that's exactly what it is. The NCAA is a joke. So to answer your question, though, I don't have a problem with players being able to move around freely if they're undergrads or graduates or whatever, like Martell and Fields and some of these other players that have done that in the past year or two. I don't have a problem with it. The thing I have a problem with is that the NCAA needs to be more consistent in the way and more transparent. That's probably the real word I'm looking for. They need to be more transparent about exactly what the guidelines are, and as far as these transfers go, because they want you to believe that unless you're a graduate, you can't transfer freely unless there's a hardship. But let's be honest here. I'd say probably over half of the undergraduate transfers in the past year have not had any true hardship. And I spoke about this yesterday in my video. The Tate Martell situation in particular, I realized that the Justin Fields situation was a nightmare legally for the NCAA to deal with. Anytime there's racism involved, if you're going to claim that and they have actual evidence to back that up, they're going to stamp that sucker before it even hits the desk. They don't want nothing to do with that. So that didn't surprise me at all. But Tate Martell, 2 weeks before he decided he was going to transfer, was in the media yapping his mouth about how he was going to take Justin Fields' job and he wasn't scared of competition. So So in that 2 week period, now you found some hardship reason to transfer and start next year. Is that what you're telling me? Doesn't make any sense. And that's not Tate Martell's fault.
Stupid.
That's the NCAA. And you know what? To be honest with you, I don't even know the particular situation or the legal jargon that went on with them actually putting that waiver through for him. Do you have any idea what that was all about? I mean, what was the actual verbiage they used for granting him that hardship? Do you know?
So apparently it was Urban Meyer. That he made the commitment under Urban Meyer, and then everything that he went through of not being there the first 3 games, and then him just kind of leaving out of nowhere, and now Ryan Day being the head coach. I really don't know what their specific argument was, but I do know that it was related to that. It was around that. It's like I said though. And I don't know where you fall, where your opinion on, paying college players and the amount of money that players make in comparison to coaches in the university as a whole. But my mindset is, if nothing about that is ever going to change, and if they're going to, bring in so much money for their programs, for not a whole lot of return other than potentially playing in the NFL one day, I'm of the mindset then, let them go wherever they are going to be able to play football. I mean, a head coach can up and move and leave his team in the dust like it's nothing, whether it be going to the NFL or a different program altogether. So, if the system isn't going to be the way that it is, then, I say let a player go wherever they want and let them play, And I feel the hardship waiver is being exploited in a lot of ways. Like the Justin Fields thing, dude, imagine you're basically saying that the Georgia is a racist program all because one player called you a bad word, and that player was thrown off of the baseball team. You know what I'm saying? So
I don't know if they were actually calling it a racist program, but I think it was just more like he was saying he didn't feel comfortable there. And you know what? Maybe he didn't feel comfortable there, but I still think that it's a little bit naive for people to think that that's the actual reason that he transferred, and not the fact that he wasn't going to start for the next 2 years, most likely. And I mean, it is what it is. I agree with you. Listen, I don't like the fact that people can transfer so easily. I'd rather see it be harder for them to transfer and have real hardships to do that, because I'm a believer, if you commit to a school, you should stay there at least for what you've committed to. But on the other hand, if the NCAA is just going to be all willy-nilly about it, then let's just be transparent. Let's just make it an open free agent market, and so we can stop guessing about this and making a big, a zoo out of this thing. Doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, I understand. Hey, man, I'm just excited to see good football players play. I want to see Tate Martell play. I want to see if Justin Fields lives up to the hype. I mean, supposedly he was the number 1 rated quarterback, even over Trevor Lawrence, which is absolutely a joke to me the entire time. Trevor had the best high school college football career there is, and Justin wins an Elite 11 competition. And then all of a sudden, he's the better quarterback. It's just insane to me, man.
Yeah, listen, I'm excited
to see him play.
Yeah, I've got a caller on the line that's been holding for a while, so I'm going to let you go. But hey, thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it. And of course, you already know you're welcome to call anytime.
Yeah, man, no problem. Enjoy the rest of your day, and yeah, I'll see you later, man.
All right, man. Have a good one.
Yep.
All right, so that was Cody. Check him out at the Cat Chronicles. I'm going to go ahead and pick up this call from Delusional Paul. Good afternoon.
How about the Buckeyes?
Hey, how about them Buckeyes, though?
You guys talking Tate Martell, talking Justin Fields. I figure I have to call in. But how about Bobby C's Tennessee Volunteers are losing to Colgate?
Are they? See, I was preparing for the live show. I didn't see any of that. What's the score?
Yeah, I don't. Colgate 49, Tennessee 48. Tennessee just scored a bucket. Now it's 50-49. Tennessee up 1.
All right, so it's still close.
We got Gardner-Webb up by 4 on Virginia.
Yeah, I've got Tennessee. I've got several brackets, but I think I have Tennessee going to the Sweet 16 and then losing. I don't listen. As much as I would actually like to see Tennessee, go to the championship or at least to the Final Four, because I don't have a dog in the fight. Clemson's, basketball program's an absolute joke, so I don't really care. And I hate Duke and North Carolina, so I don't care about that either. But I like the fact that Tennessee has a veteran team with a bunch of seniors on it. With the way that college basketball is, with all the one and dones, I'll root for Tennessee just because they have a bunch of seniors.
Yeah, you watching this Gardner-Webb game versus Virginia?
Well, I'm not watching anything right now because I'm on the phone with you and I'm on a live show.
Well, you got to have a TV in the background. Pigskin.
Well, I actually have I have a TV right in front of me, but it's off right now.
Okay. Well, yeah, number 1 Virginia is losing in the second half to Gardner-Webb.
I mean, is Virginia the most disappointing team in the history of the NCAA in the past couple of years?
We'll see. I don't know if they can blow it again as a 1 seed. They're down by 4.
That would be pitiful if they did that, because there's no doubt that if you look at their regular season and their play, even in the ACC tournament, that they're a solid team. And this year, actually, normally they have a really good defense, but they don't score a lot of points. But this year they have a really good defense and they actually have some scorers. So I thought they would go pretty far, but that coach might get
now they cut it to 2.
That coach might get ran out on a rail if they don't do something this year.
Yeah.
So listen, man. Talk to me. Talk to me about Justin Fields and Ohio State this year, because it's not every day that Ohio State fan calls in.
Before I do, I followed your boy Trevor Lawrence on Instagram, and I'm cheering for the Tigers this year. Second favorite team behind my Buckeyes. So
you're not helping.
I like what you guys are doing.
I know you do, and I appreciate that. And I don't feel this way, but I'm just letting you know that you're not helping your reputation as a 2 or 3 teamer on YouTube by saying that.
I'm a 3-teamer, no longer a 2-teamer, man.
Yeah.
Because I'll tell you what, I'm a 2-teamer this year with Buckeyes and Clemson. I'll cheer for Clemson over Georgia. A, because I love Dabo Swinney compared to Kirby Smart. And right. B, I really think Trevor Lawrence is awesome. He's a good player.
Yeah. No, I hear you.
So I think you guys are good.
And I appreciate the support. I'm just saying you're going to get a lot of flack for saying that. That's all I'm saying.
Oh, I'm ready for it. I got all my Clemson. My sister and her husband went to Clemson. All my cousins went to Clemson.
Yeah.
My mom sends me all these Clemson hoodies. I got more Clemson memorabilia than most Clemson fans. So I'm going to really stir up the pot this year. Justin Fields, Tate Martell, it's about as sketchy as you can get with all this transfer stuff. I mean, I'm an Ohio State fan, so I'm glad that Justin Fields is our quarterback, but you spelled it out perfectly. They weren't going to touch the racism thing, and the Tate Martell thing makes absolutely no sense. There's no way to justify that.
Yeah.
In playing. Hardship. What hardship?
So let me ask you this, because I'm asking you because I don't know, not because I'm trying to bait you into something. But so you have Justin Fields there. Who's his biggest competition as far as taking the starting job in 2019, and who do you think will start?
Justin Fields is our quarterback.
Yeah,
there's no question
but
about that.
But there's always a second guy. Who is that second guy?
I don't even know right now. I think he's some white dude. I got to do some research. I don't even know, honestly.
Some white dude. Well, that really narrows that narrows it down to about 300 million people in the United States.
Yeah, well, last year we had Dwayne Haskins and Tate Martell, so that's the only two quarterbacks I knew. I didn't know who our third stringer was because Tate Martell would come up in mop-up duty, you know what I mean? So I never even saw our third stringer last year. It was just Haskins would play the first three quarters, and then Martell would come in for mop-up duty.
All right, so let me ask you this, because this is listen, I got to say, I love having an Ohio State fan on here because I don't really have that many. Michigan and Ohio State fans hate Pigskin Pete. I mean, you guys, that might be the only thing that Michigan and Ohio State fans have in common. I mean, Mark Dudley is the only one on the Pigskin Pete YouTube channel that's a Michigan fan that does not hate me. And even he probably doesn't like me that much, but he just puts up with me. And then there's you from the Ohio State side. I pretty much ran the rest of them off. So, Tate Martell, is he as good as people think he is? Because I know he played great in high school. He was a highly recruited player out of Bishop Gorman. You know, that sort of I call it like a farm team for college football. He comes into Ohio State, sits behind Haskins, gets beat out. Obviously, Haskins was a better player. And then, of course, the first sign of adversity with Justin Fields transferring there, he runs off to Miami. Tell me what you think about the expectation that Miami should have for Tate Martell in the next couple of years.
Well, Pete, they should have really high expectations for Tate Martell. Urban Meyer drove me crazy last year because when Tate Martell would play in meaningful games, you knew exactly what the play was. It was going to be the old Tim Tebow run. And, the defense knew exactly literally. I would sit there and just scream at TV. I'm like, all right, Martell's going to run it. And that's exactly what they would do. So I think it'll be better to have a little open playbook for him in Miami where it's not so predictable. But I think he's a really good quarterback. He just got unfortunate deck of cards there playing by Dwayne Haskins was the best quarterback we've ever seen at Ohio State. So he didn't have a chance, and he obviously doesn't have competitive juice in him to try to scare Justin Fields. Remember that tweet he made? Don't make the same mistake twice, trying to scare him off. But then when he does show up, he runs out of town. Yeah. That doesn't look good.
I think that Tate Martell has an image problem right now, and that's probably by his own doing. Because I'm not hating on the guy. I don't know enough about the guy to attack him as far as his football play or his character. But I have seen the very few interviews I have seen with the guy. He seems cocky and arrogant, and he really hasn't done anything to be talking the way he's talking. You know what I'm saying? So he needs to probably clean that up.
Well, it was just all the hype. It was all the hype, being a top recruit. I mean, he was just riding off his glory from high school. He hasn't done anything in Ohio State other than, play good fourth quarters against, weaker Big Ten teams.
Right.
But, he doesn't have anything in college football to brag of, but he is a raw athlete, and he's an incredible running quarterback. And if Miami's offensive coordinator gets him good plays, I think he can do some damage in the ACC.
Right. And I'm glad that you mentioned a minute ago that Dwayne Haskins was probably the best quarterback to ever play at Ohio State, because that's the exact. Did you see the video I made about Dwayne Haskins a couple days ago?
Not yet. I got to watch that, Pete.
Yeah, well, you don't worry. Nobody else watched it, so you wouldn't be the only one that didn't watch it. But I was defending Dwayne Haskins, and that's exactly what I said in the video. Is that, well, I said a lot of things about his ability and how I think he's being overlooked in this draft and overshadowed because of the whole Kyler Murray hype, all that. But people seem to all of a sudden just sweep Dwayne Haskins under the rug and not want him. I feel if you're a team in the NFL and you have a high draft pick, then why would you not want to go after Dwayne Haskins? And that what you said is exactly what I said. I said in the rich history and all the winning that Ohio State's done, they're one of the best college football programs of all time, bar none. He's probably the best quarterback that they've ever had. And people don't really realize that because he only played for 1 year as a starter.
Yeah, it's not probably. It's a consensus. He's the best quarterback we've ever had. I mean, statistically and just with the eye test, he is by far the best quarterback we've ever had.
Yeah. So as far as the NFL goes with Haskins, I mean, what do you project that he'll do, and maybe where do you project that he'll go as well?
Well, first of all, I'm a huge Cleveland Browns fan. I still can't believe that the Giants gave us Odell Beckham Jr. I do not know what they're doing. And if they don't take Dwayne Haskins, then I really don't know what they're doing. I would take Haskins over that kid from Iowa. I know that kid from Iowa's got a lot of stock right now, the white kid out of Iowa. And then everyone saying Kyle Murray's going to go in front of Haskins is baloney. So I would imagine him either going to the Dolphins, they need a quarterback, or the Giants. Those would be my guess. But I would guess that. Go ahead.
I was going to say, you were making so much sense. I was almost going to have to start referring to you as Delusional Paul, because I agree with you. I agree with the fact that the Giants trading Odell Beckham Jr. was stupid. I mean, I think that Cleveland right now is primed to be by far and away the best team in that division and make a playoff run. And I really like what Cleveland's doing right now as far as picking up draft picks and free agents and just everything they're doing. I think they're doing a great job. But you just said that you think that people that think Kyler Murray is going to go ahead to Dwayne Haskins in the draft are crazy. I don't. I mean, I think Kyler Murray is going to go ahead to Dwayne Haskins.
Well, Dwayne Haskins reminds me of Big Ben. He's big. He's strong. He can't run. That's his one negative, is he's not going to be Michael Vick out there. If it's a broken play and it's a scramble, he can run for 4 or 5 yards, but he's not a running quarterback. But he's an NFL quarterback. He's got a great arm. He makes good decisions, and he's big and he's very strong. I mean, he's almost like Big Ben.
In
many ways.
And he could run circles around Eli Manning and Tom Brady and Matt Ryan and Joe Flacco. I mean,
I'm saying for being an African American, most people think, well, just because you're black, you're a fast quarterback.
Well, I don't.
He's actually slow.
Well, I don't think that.
But well, I'm just saying, a lot of people just assume, oh, he can run, but he really can't. But he is kind of strong. I mean, he could kind of run you over. But if I was a GM, I would take Haskins over Murray any day of the week. But I'm not saying Murray's bad. I mean, I think he could be an NFL quarterback.
Yeah.
But Dwayne Haskins is something special, and I think you're going to get I can see him 10 years from now still being in the NFL. And Murray could go either way.
First of all, I don't even disagree with you as far as that goes, because I've said, and I've been on record as saying, that I think Kyler Murray is the highest risk and the highest reward possibility as far as the quarterbacks go in this draft. I think Dwayne Haskins is more of a sure thing. And it also really depends on what team they're going to and what sort of offensive philosophy they have. So the Giants, I mean, when's the last time the Giants had a runaround quarterback? I mean, I can't remember one. So I think that Haskins would fit perfectly with the Giants. They like the prototypical pocket
pass. They play outside. It's cold. I mean, you need a good, durable Big Ben. I mean, look how Big Ben did in Pittsburgh. It's cold. It's windy in November, December. I just think Haskins would be a good fit for them.
Don't even start with the cold thing, please. Please don't start.
Oh,
with the cold
you
thing.
boys! Hey, I live down here in Atlanta, man. But y'all boys don't know about that cold
Listen
weather.
to me. Listen to me. I want you to listen very closely. Brett Favre is from Mississippi. Okay? Eli Manning is from Louisiana. Aaron Rodgers is from California. Odell Beckham Jr. played at LSU. I mean, I could just go down the list. Baker Mayfield is from Texas. He's the quarterback of your team. Did he have a problem playing in the cold weather?
No.
Okay. I don't buy it.
I'm just saying. Well, I'm just saying. Let me make a point, and this I'm not delusional, because you don't understand this because you don't live up there. When it's 41 degrees or 35 degrees and it's freezing cold and it's windy, if you would take Ohio State versus any other team in the Big Ten and put them in a dome, Ohio State has so much more athleticism and talent, and it's obvious. But when you put them out in freezing cold weather, that gap between Ohio State's skill, talent, ability, and the other team gets a lot closer together. And that's something that Alabama and Clemson and these schools that play in the South where it's warm, it doesn't affect you more when you're playing in warmer conditions.
That is so.
You get out there and you can't feel your hands, you can't feel your feet. You're cold, Pete. All you're thinking about is.
So let me ask you this question. So the teams, the players that are used to playing in the North in the cold weather, their hands don't get cold and numb the same way that the Southerners do.
No, they both teams get cold, but I'm just saying it decreases the gap of athleticism when it's cold, and what Urban Meyer never figured out, when it's windy and raining, your run and gun offense doesn't necessarily work. That's why you need a good old-fashioned high formation with a tight end offense sometimes in that cold weather.
Well, that's game planning and play calling. That's not necessarily the players themselves. Listen, here's the bottom line. There's absolutely no evidence that ever suggests that Southern teams can't go up north and play, or that Northern teams can't go down south in Miami in September when it's 80 degrees and 90 degrees and the humidity and play. There's just no evidence to back that up. I know it's a good talking point, but if you look at some of the greatest quarterbacks in the history of the NFL, a lot of those guys, Hall of Famers, are Southern guys that were born and raised in the South and played college football in the South and had no problem going to cold weather teams in the NFL and being successful, period.
Yeah, and look at the Big Ten quarterbacks: Tom Brady, Drew Brees. I don't know what point you're making, but the Big Ten's put out some quarterbacks too, Pete.
Well, I didn't say that, but it has nothing to do with the weather. Nothing.
Okay. My point with the weather is it makes our road games tougher when the weather's freezing cold and windy and rainy. It really makes a difference.
All right. I don't think it does.
But anyway, Clemson. All right. Anyway, this is my team next year. My second favorite team. I like Trevor Lawrence. I follow him on Instagram. I DM him on Instagram. He hasn't DM'd me back yet, but when he does, I'll let you know.
All right, man. Hey,
T. Lawrence 16.
Hey, so non-football related. I haven't seen you, and I don't know if this is my fault or not, but I haven't seen you on YouTube a lot. Is everything going all right, or you just got something else going on, or am I just missing your YouTube shows for some reason?
No, so I haven't posted. I think I posted a Kareem Hunt video when the Browns got him, and then an Odell Beckham video when the Browns got him. I deeply apologize to everyone. I've actually been struggling with my health. I got the flu right now. I went and got the flu test yesterday or whatever, and they said I had the flu. And I've just been busy working and with my health. But
yeah,
I'll ramp it up in the year next fall, and I'm not sure how active I'll be until then. I run a landscaping company here, and
right,
I'm busy with that.
Yeah, no doubt, man. You
can expect me for all your Cleveland Browns and Ohio State videos next fall. I'll be going hard. It's been hard in the off season to make content or comment on others because I've just been struggling with some health stuff and running my business.
I hear you. So listen, I'll tell you this. I'm looking forward to you getting back on the horse. When the season rolls around. I hope you feel better. I hope your business does great. I love to give you hell, but you're also one of my favorite people to talk to. So You know you're one of my favorites, right?
I appreciate it, Pete, and I'll definitely. I'm thinking of starting some more stuff with the Cleveland Browns, so I'll keep you in touch with that. We'll have to have you on as a guest.
Awesome,
friend of the show.
And if you got family in Charleston, if you ever make it down, man, give me a call before you come. Maybe meet up with you for a beer. Or
yeah,
something.
I will. My sister and her husband live real close to King Street. They got an old house down there. I love it.
Okay.
And we always go to Mount Pleasant for vacation in the summer. So I'll hit you up. That'd be fun to get together when I'm down there.
Awesome, man. Well, thanks for calling in. I really appreciate it. And hope you feel better.
All right. Go Tigers. Go Buckeyes.
All right, man.
Later.
There you have it, folks. That's Delusional Paul. And apparently, Delusional Paul is a Clemson fan now. That, and he thinks that Southern players can't play in cold weather. Anyways, that was a good call. So thank you to him for calling in. Let me go back up in the chat here and see. By the way, for anybody else who wants to call in, number is 855-902-9368. I do want to give a big shout out, by the way, if I can find it, to all the Super Chat members for the month of March. Melissa Stallings, Leon Hurricanes, Michael Sachs, Cole the Missouri Fan, Catfish, Tiger Nation, Hound Dog, and that's it. So thank you to all of you. Sorry, I'm just scrolling back here because I'm trying to see if I missed anything. And if anybody else new is coming here. And by the way, to go Watson, I didn't even get to see the answer. Did you get the gift card I sent you? Please tell me yes. P. Digits is in the house. Good afternoon to you, sir. George is in the house. Man, I went way back up. No, you didn't get it. Please tell me you're trolling me. Please tell me you're trolling me. Because I'm going to be really pissed if you didn't. Not at you, but... flu spreads because people huddle together and don't give each other space. Well, I'm not exactly sure that's the way things work, sir. But I'll take your word for it. That was a good call by both of them, by Cody and Delusional Paul. All right, you did get it. Good, thank you. You ever heard the term "going postal"? I'm glad you told me that you were messing around because I was literally about to go postal and go to the post office and cause trouble and probably get arrested. So that's good news. Tennessee is choking. What is the score of the Tennessee game? Delusional Paul actually had a good point. I should have the TV on, but I don't because I want to concentrate on what I got going on here in front of my face. Listen, I'm not the smartest cookie in the pack of cookies, and so I can't really concentrate on more than one thing at a time. Hold on, I got a caller here. Good afternoon, you're on with Pete.
What's up, Pete?
What's up? Who am I speaking with?
College football maniac here.
College football maniac. We have a Gamecock fan on the line.
One true Gamecock fan.
I think I have like, I don't know. I can count them on one hand. The amount of Gamecock fans that actually like me and participate. But you are one of the first, sir. So you should be proud of that.
Yes. The very first Gamecock from day one.
Yes.
Yeah.
And so I am planning on having you on at some point during the offseason to go really, really in depth into the Gamecock football projections and all your feelings on that as far as 2019 is concerned. But we can still talk a little bit about it today. And I'm going to give you the opportunity to ask me whatever you want as far as what I think, because I think you probably already know what I think for the most part.
Yeah. Well, I know what the last game of the season is.
Well, yeah, but outside of Clemson, I'm forget Clemson because that's only one of 12 games in the regular season. But let me ask you this: so give me like the top 2 or 3 recruits that you've recruited in 2019 that you're most excited about seeing in 2020, and also maybe just a little bit of a insight into how short of a leash do you think that Will Muschamp has going into the season? I mean, is he on the hot seat? Is his seat warm? Is his seat cold? How do you feel about that?
I don't know, but Ray Tanner needs to get his stuff together because he's like, I'm sticking with Muschamp. I got a good feeling, but I don't know. He's got to win at least one of these games. Me personally, what I think.
When you say one of these games, you mean Alabama, Clemson, or Georgia, right?
No, not even them, because we ain't beat Kentucky or Texas A&M in 5 years. So one of them's gonna have to be a win too.
Well, that's a good point. But let's say that you do beat Kentucky. All right, so that's out of all the teams you just named, A&M, Georgia, Alabama, Clemson. I think Kentucky's the most likely that you should. I mean, listen, you should have beat in the past couple of years. Let's be honest. But let's
should have.
So let's say you beat
that Florida game last year was horrible.
The Florida game.
Yeah, we had them by 17 points, and in one full quarter, they beat us. And Felipe Franks is not that good.
When's the last time you guys beat Florida?
Oh God. To be honest, I don't even know.
That's not good.
No, wait. I think it was right before Muschamp got here, or the first year with Muschamp. I think we beat him, or second. I don't. Huh. No, wait. No, I'm thinking of Tennessee. Well, I got a bad feeling about the Tennessee game too, because we've been too close with them for the past 2-3 years.
Yeah, so we're getting off track here. Let me get back to the question I had. So you've got Clemson. We can all right. Let's just. I think that I know that because we chat off of YouTube, in the Peete Mod Room chat. So I know that you're not. I know that you're not delusional like a lot of Gamecock fans are. So I already know that about you from the get go. So I think that if you're being objective here, you're already going to go ahead and mark down Alabama, Georgia, and Clemson. Most likely, anything can happen, but those 3 games are most likely going to be losses, right?
Yeah, most likely.
All right, so let's move on. So let's say you do lose those 3 games. So that puts you at 9-3 in the regular season. So now you move on to A&M, Florida, and Kentucky. All right, those are your What would you consider those to be like your next 3 toughest games outside of the first 3 that I just named?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's say I'm going to go ahead and say you beat Kentucky, just for the hell of it, all right? Because you're overdue, and you should have beat them last year or the year before that, or at least the year before that. All right, so you beat Kentucky, so that's a win.
Yeah.
So now Florida and Texas A&M. I think you'll lose to Texas A&M, but like you said, if you beat one of these teams like A&M, let's say you beat A&M and Florida. All right, so that puts you at 9-3 if you win the rest of your games, and that's provided that you beat, Missouri and Vanderbilt and Tennessee. So does a 9-3 season, and Will Muschamp's what is this going to be his 4th season there?
Yeah, then he'll be on the hot seat.
So you think
if he does good and he does that,
right?
Then they'll probably cut up a little bit of slack since it was one of the toughest in college, period. Second toughest, I think.
Yeah, it is definitely a tough schedule, no doubt. So you think a 9-3 season saves his job based on the fact that you guys have one of the toughest schedules in the country this year?
Yeah, 9-3. If he only wins 8, he might be. It just all depends on who he beats. If he can beat ranked opponents, because he has a horrible record with ranked opponents.
Well, A&M will definitely be ranked.
But,
I mean, I'm assuming Florida will be ranked,
yeah.
right? So, I mean, I don't know about Kentucky. They're hard to figure out after the pieces they're losing. So that's hard to figure out. Now, if you guys go out there and you pull off an upset against an Alabama or Clemson, in a crazy game or something, that definitely will save his job. Unless you guys go 6-6, but you only beat Alabama or Clemson, that's a different story. Here's where I'm going with this. Here's where I'm going with this, because forget the records. If you lose to Clemson again, you lose to A&M again, forget Kentucky. I'm not worried about them. But you only win 8 games. Best case scenario, you win 9 games. Are you going to be one of the fans that is calling for a new head coach, or are you still going to be on the Will Muschamp train?
Well, it's kind of unfair that he had this schedule for his 4th year. And seeing what we lost from last year coming into this year, all the players we lost, the talent and everything, the depth. But he did get a pretty good bit of depth from this signing in the secondary and on defensive line and on the offensive line as well. He got 5 offensive linemen. So usually I give a coach 4 years, maybe 5, depending.
Yeah.
But I'm more of a four-year kind of person for a coach, and to get all their recruits, all the recruits they had, and have them a full slate of what they recruited in. And he's been getting good talent the past 2 recruiting classes. I'll give him that. But I don't think it's enough.
Yeah. Here's well, you already know how I feel, but I'm going to tell you anyway. I don't.
Yeah.
I mean, I know that if you're a South Carolina fan, you've got to look at the bright side, and you want your team to do well next year, and you want to beat Clemson or Alabama, and you want to win 9 or 10 games. But as an outsider looking in, I feel like if I'm a South Carolina fan, I want South Carolina to win 4 or 5 games next year, just so Will Muschamp gets fired. You mentioned that it's unfair for him to have that schedule after 4 years, but that schedule, outside of you're not going to play Alabama every year like you do next year, but the rest of that schedule for the most part, it's not changing, man. You're still going to have to play A&M every year. You're still going to have to play Clemson every year.
Yeah.
You're still going to have to play Georgia every year. You're still going to have to play Florida every year. So at some point, he's got to start beating those guys, or at least 1 or 2 of those teams. Otherwise, you're just going to keep spinning your wheels.
Me personally, if we get a new coach starting for the 2020 year, I hope the coach never played or coached at Florida, unless they're really, really good. Because we can't stay away from them Florida people.
That's a good point. Hold on real quick. Mark Dudley just sent a super chat in for $5. Thank you, Mark. Says just got off work now. We were scheduled to do it.
Mark.
We were scheduled to do a show today. He couldn't get off work. We'll link up here soon and give everybody the Michigan video they've been looking for. So thank you, Mark. I appreciate it. But anyway, yeah, I agree. But you're still not answering my question, man. You're not answering my question.
Yeah.
So if, again, I'm going to say it one more time. If South Carolina only wins 8 or 9 games this year, are you going to be wanting to fire Will Muschamp or not? Yes or no?
I'd have to say yeah.
Okay. All right.
He's not a head coach material, but he's more of a stay on the defense. You're a defensive coordinator. Stay there.
Yeah, and I agree. I think he's a really good defensive coordinator. I mean, he's proven that. There's no doubt about that.
Yeah.
I give listen. I give a lot of flack to Muschamp. I give a lot of flack to South Carolina. I do think that he sort of entered a situation that was not very conducive to winning or building something very quickly, because he came into a situation that a program that was in bad shape, at the time that Spurrier left him there. And that's hard in itself to rebuild something like that. And then on the other hand, you had Clemson, which at that time was becoming one of the premier college football programs in America, and they're in the same state. You had Georgia making an ascension. I mean, it's just every sort of – you couldn't create a perfect storm to go against South Carolina than what happened when Will Muschamp came in there. So it's not all his fault, but it does come a certain point when you're like, are we happy being a 9-3 team every year, or do we want to compete with Georgia and Florida and Clemson and Alabama at some point? So that's where I come from with my criticism of Muschamp.
Yeah.
So.
But going on to the subject of the recruits or whatever.
Yeah.
The no-brainer is Zach Pickens, the 5-star defensive tackle that we got. The quarterback, Ryan Linsky, the highly rated 4-star, the second pro style, I think, passer. And Kevin Harris, he's a 3-star running back, but I've watched video on him. And the running back coach, Thomas Brown, that came from Miami, I think.
Yeah.
Ain't that his name? Thomas Brown? Yeah. He was talking so good on him, talking about he's a heavy hitter. He's a heavy foot. He runs straight with his pads. And I watched his video, and he makes me remember of Mike Davis, our running back.
Yeah.
Just a hard runner.
And then,
I'm feeling good about him.
And even Spurrier, the years that he was there, man, you guys had some elite running backs, man. Unbelievable. And that seems to have just kind of gone.
Well, I mean, we had one in the works for 2020, that Tank Bigsby I told you about.
Yeah.
And he's pretty good. I watched his high school tape on him, and he was running over some people. He looked like he was a good contender for South Carolina.
Real quick,
favored.
Mark Dudley coming through with a $15 super chat now. Says, Pete, I'll take a day off work to do your show next week. Hey, Mark, listen, no worries, man. We'll work something out. Listen, I appreciate the super chat. You're the man, and then I'll enter you into the super chat contest. Not that you care, but that gives you 20 entries, and we'll work something out next week. You don't have to take a day off work unless you absolutely want to, but we'll get it worked out. I really appreciate that. Yeah. So all right. So listen. Give me. I don't want to. I want to have you on as a guest to do a full in-depth thing into South Carolina at some point. So I don't want to spill all our beans. So here's what I'm going to do. So we don't get, we don't give too much information away. Just real quick before we get off here, give me your best case, worst case scenario as far as the regular season goes. We won't talk about bowl games or playoffs or anything like that. Give me your best case, worst case, way too early projection record for the South Carolina next year.
All right. Best case, me personally, best case is 8. Worst case is 5. We might miss out on a bowl game.
Wow.
Well, I mean, I look at it from last year is how the injuries affected us, and we played like crap after the second half of Florida game. Because second half of Florida game last year is pretty much when all the rest of our experience that was playing and our older guys, they left. And the young bucks came in there, and they just gave away the game to Florida.
Yeah. You know what's shocking is that your best case and worst case is worse than my worst case, and I hate South Carolina. I was gonna say worst case scenario is 6-6. Listen, I don't see there's any way. I'd be shocked if South Carolina missed a bowl game. I mean, I don't. Jake Bentley's going to be a senior, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. They recruited well the past couple years. I don't know. I think you're being a little bit too hard on your Gamecocks, man. I say worst case 6.
Well, I mean, from what I've been seeing,
yeah,
it's just reality.
Well, I know you're right. The schedule does not help. The schedule has everything to do with what you're saying. I get that. But I think you'll win at least one game you probably shouldn't win. But the thing that worries me about South Carolina every year is that you lose a couple of games that you shouldn't lose. So if you average those two things out, I think 6-6 is worse. And I think the best case scenario is probably 8 wins. And that's being generous. So I'd say 8 wins at the best, 6 wins at the worst.
Well, that's what I was going to say at first, but looking at it, how we usually lose something we shouldn't, like it would be upsetting if we went ahead straight up first game at North Carolina and lost that one, or Appalachian State.
That ain't going to happen, man.
Texas A&M.
I don't see you.
You never know.
Yeah, well, I mean, listen, you're right. You never know, but I don't see you losing to North Carolina or App State. Now, the games that I think that like you probably should win that you might not win would be Missouri and Vanderbilt. Those are the 2 teams that you should beat, but you might not, and maybe Kentucky too. But yeah, I hear what you're saying.
Yeah.
Anyway, all right, man. Listen, you're amazing. You're fantastic. You already know that. Thanks for calling in. I'm going to have to go ahead and wrap this thing up.
All right.
All right, man. I appreciate it.
Later, Pete.
Later. Well, there you have it, folks. College football maniac calling in. I'm going to have to turn the call-in studio thing off here, and then I'll get back.
We are sorry, but the show has ended. Goodbye.
You hear that? That guy loves to rain on my parade, don't he? Not college football maniac. I'm talking about the call-in studio guy. Yeah, so there you have it. College football maniac. Well, I like him for a lot of reasons, but one of the reasons is because, and for the same reason I like Mark Dudley, is because nobody gives more crap to the Gamecocks and more crap to the Michigan fan base than these guys, and they still ride with Pete. So I got respect for that. And he's a realistic Gamecock fan, too. You just heard that. All right, so I'll answer questions for another couple of minutes here before my computer dies. What do you think the playoff will be this season? I think Clemson and Alabama are in, and I think I will take Oregon and Michigan for the other 2. Tiger Nate. First of all, it's way too early. We don't know what's going to happen with injuries and all that, but I'm going to go ahead and entertain that for a second. So I think Clemson will be in because I think Clemson is far and away the best team in the ACC, and barring some sort of catastrophical season where Trevor Lawrence gets hurt and they lose 2 or 3 games, I think they're going to win the ACC championship and get in. So that puts Clemson in. Alabama, I would say, is definitely the favorite in the SEC. Whoever wins the SEC is going to get in. So it's just a matter of, is there going to be 2 teams from the SEC in, like we saw 2 years ago with Georgia and Alabama getting in? Whoever wins the SEC is in. And so I would have to agree that the favorite to win the SEC is Alabama. So that puts Alabama and Clemson in. You mentioned Michigan. I disagree. I mean, I don't know what people are basing that on. I'm not saying that they won't. If I had to guess, I don't know why anybody would, assume that Michigan's going to get in there unless they're picking that as like their dark horse to get in there, because they haven't proven that they can do that since Harbaugh's been there. So I would say a team out of the Big 12, no, I take that back. I would put Ohio State in, even with the new head coach, until Michigan can prove me wrong. All right. So that puts Clemson, Ohio State, and Alabama in there. And then I've already gone on record and said that I think my dark horse to get in the playoff, and it's a dark horse for a reason because it's a long shot, and I'm probably going to be wrong about it, but I'm a believer in Oregon. I think Oregon's got a supreme amount of talent, and I also think that the Pac-12 is so terrible that they won't have too much resistance other than maybe Washington to get to the playoffs. So I'm putting Oregon in there. So there you have it. And this might change 4 or 5 times before the season even starts. So Clemson, Alabama, Ohio State, and Oregon. And I'm sure I'm completely wrong about that. Pete, I tried to call him when Brandon was on the line. Oh, yeah, I don't know. I didn't see that. I can put more than one person on at one time, but most of the time, whenever I pick up a call, I exit out and come back in, and so I can read the chat in case anybody's responding to what's going on in the call, so I can't see if anybody called in. Anyway, it's a whole thing. So it's probably my fault, not yours, but thank you. Yes, I can do a 3-way combo. Anyway, listen, it's been an hour and 10 minutes on the stream. My computer's about to die, so I got to get off. Thank you to Mark Dudley, number one, for sending $20 in super chats in. Thank you to all the callers. Cody, who else called in? Delusional Paul, and then, of course, my man, College Football Maniac. Thank you to all my moderators. Thanks for anybody who's new here that just stopped in today. If you're new here, please hit the like button and hit, apparently I can't say the word subscribe anymore, or YouTube doesn't like that. I don't care. Hit the subscribe button. I mean, it's ridiculous. Anyway, by the way, also thank all of you for helping me get in a better mood, because when I got on this stream, I was in a pissy mood. And I'm a little bit happier now. And that's because of you guys. Because you guys are amazing. And you guys are fantastic. Go Tigers. Go Tennessee Volunteers, too. Just because my bracket needs them to win. Don't lose to the toothpaste school, please. Anyway, have a great day, everybody. Pigskin Pete checking out.